agreeing with each other.
Someone is people pleasing, and someone
Yeah.
might be suppressing something.
Yeah. So I will write it down. Like I will write down what I want to say, or I'll record it, voice record it or whatever. And I'll sit on it for like 48 hours.
Mhm.
And then like 48 hours, 72 hours later, if I'm still mad about it, then I'll go bring it up.
Mhm.
Because one, it's actually making me mad or whatever. It's something I have to deal with. And two, I've had enough time to like not be reactionary, you know? So anyway, I had this student that hadn't come to class in like a month. And so I was feeling like, what the fuck, you know, like, what is, you know, come on. And so I wrote myself a letter, like in this future me email, and I set it on, you know, a date like a month later. And I was like, how are you feeling about this student? Are they still not coming? Like, what are you going to do? And the day it popped up, I was like, they literally texted me like 3 minutes after that email. And we're like, sorry, I've been like, my mom or something's been sick.
Yeah.
See you Monday. And I was like, wow, you know, definitely overthought that shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that is tough.
Had nothing to do with me at all.
Exactly. I think that's the realization is like what people are doing is like 100% about them. And I think the way we're brought up, maybe socially or within our own families, we think otherwise. I certainly was brought up with feeling like my parents' moods were my responsibility, you know?
Wow.
And it yeah, it's a big deal to like get rid of that stuff, you know?
Wow, you're making me like, am I just dumb? Like, is that a female thing?
I mean,
like a sensitivity of a daughter versus a son? Because I can tell you right now, I do not pay attention to that shit.
I mean, I think I can only speak from a woman's point of view here, right? I don't know what's going on with the guys, but I do think as girls were brought up, always be caregivers. And I think about this.
That's why I asked. You said it way better than I could.
But. Exactly. And the biggest, like, sort of like best example I can give of this is, and I want to do a survey one day with a bunch of people in the room, men and women, and be like, what was your first sort of like paying gig as like a tween? Right? When you're like 10, when you're like 12, 13, and you're kind of old enough to maybe walk to the neighbor's house, right? And for, I would say most girls is babysitting. You are getting paid to babysit, right?
Yeah, because you're not hiring a 13-year-old dude to babysit your kids.
Right.
I would actually like them to be alive when I come in.
And then for boys, I feel like they go into yard work.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, cutting grass.
Digging holes or something.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, like, we are just set up for the caregiving aspect. And then you have, like, you know, your parents' dynamic. And
yeah, right.
My therapist gave me a book called The Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents. And that really was like a big ringing true thing of like how our parents are supposed to be the model of adults, but like your parents could also be emotionally immature. And so that whole thinking that my parents' emotions were my responsibility was absolutely like a side effect of my parents' emotional immaturity.
Wow. Damn.
So there's another good book if anyone's struggling with like parental relationships is like, and my mom said that like the equivalent book of her time was Adult Children of Alcoholics. There's a lot of people her age healing from being raised by alcoholics.
Sure, you get that boomer. I mean, that's all they did.
Yeah, exactly. And my parents were recovering alcoholics, right? So I never saw them drink. They were sober before they married and had children, but they were emotionally mature. So
wow, yeah, that's deep, man. Interesting. Yeah, definitely not taking that personally. I mean, that's their problem.
Yeah,
like,
but
and you're just like, so hard. But it's not. It's my parents.
I know it's so hard as a kid. And my thing, if I'm struggling with not taking things personally, I think taking a step back and taking a breath is a good thing to get clear-headed. But I always try and think that this person is just trying to do their best, which is another of the 4 agreements. Like I think. For me, naturally, I'm always trying to do my best. I hope that other people are. And for me to try and understand like hurtful behavior from others is I have to say they're trying to do their best. And there's likely things that we don't know what's going on. So like with your student and having like family illness or, anyone who suffered with depression, anxiety, a lot of times that just makes you like drop off the planet. And it's hard to explain that. So I have to think like, you don't know what's going on. Look at this person as they're trying to do their best, and it's not about you. Yeah.
Yeah, at least start from that.
Yeah.
I mean, until proven otherwise. Yeah,
Yeah.
at least
What's an
start there.
example of, like, not trying to do your best? You know what I mean?
I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. Like, they wouldn't even meet you in the first place.
Yeah.
You know, when I think of like someone like that, like a student, like they wouldn't have even, I never would have met them. They're not
Right.
really trying to do their best. I mean,
Right.
that's the whole point.
Mm.